Welcome, my name is Pam, the owner and maker behind Lather and Soul Skincare. Let's make my Ostara soap to celebrate the spring equinox. I only use the heat transfer method whenever I'm making soap because I'm too impatient to do it any other way. Here I'm only going to blend to emulsion. I never get to full trace. For me, this works. I've never experienced any sort of separation doing this. I've worked with this fragrance oil before and it did not accelerate last time, but this time around it did make my batter get a little bit thicker than I would have liked. But we make it work. I'm working with 5 different colors today in pastel shades, with a little pop of white in between each layer. The first color I end up mixing is a purple shade, and it did not turn out the way that I wanted to at first. This is an ultramarine, but I clearly didn't use enough. At this point, I'm starting to get a little frustrated, so I set it aside so I can get the rest of the colors mixed up. This next color, I'm going for sort of a pinky peach color. To stay in line with my Ostara theme, I want to make sure that my colors are nice and soft and muted. Light pastel colors are typically associated with Ostara, so I want to keep with that. So a light pink, a light purple, a lighter green, and then this lovely light blue that you see here. All the micas that I use are ethically sourced micas. Next is my titanium dioxide because I did want just a bit of contrast between the different layers of colors that I'll be using. Was a little concerned that this green was just a little bit too dark, so I had a couple drops of my titanium dioxide to lighten it up. Okay, now back to this purple, and this time I just opted to add in some purple mica. Because this is going to be a limited release soap, I decided to use my half mold. This will get me about 30 bars. I really love this purple shade. It's sort of like a mauve-y purple. It's very, very pretty. Batter was a little bit thick, so I had to beat it up to get any air bubbles out. Between each color, I'm just adding little dribbles of white, just so that there's enough contrast between the colors. Here's the light blue shade next. Beat it up some more. I also didn't realize that all the banging was moving my camera mount just a little bit. More white, and then the green. Getting out some aggression. Then we go in with another layer of white. And this is when I realized that I'm no longer in frame. Sorry about that, but it'll be fine moving forward. Here's the final color, this beautiful, sort of like a salmon corally pink. I don't know why I went to the extent of smoothing it out when I'm just gonna texture it anyway. Apparently I just like to make extra work for myself. I don't like to waste any soap, so I'm dribbling any of the remaining batter over the top. Honestly, I should have waited to do this because, as you'll see, I'll be swirling it in just a few minutes anyway. I mean, the effect turns out quite nice, so I guess it doesn't really matter what order, but again, it really was sort of a waste of time to do all this. I was just gonna swirl it in. I really love how it turns into sort of like a watercolor piece here. I decided to add a dusting of this really pretty champagne mica because when I go in with the spoon, I really like the effect it leaves on top of the soap. I just like how it smears into the top layer. As you can see, I removed my gloves, but I am being very careful not to touch any of the raw soap. This looks so pretty. I'm obsessed. Now for the crystals. Keeping in line with Ostara, I'm using citrine and amethyst. Ostara is associated with the spring's warmth and light from the sun. It's only fitting to add citrine to the soap because it brings lightness, joy, and life to it. Amethyst is another great crystal for Ostara. It can help bring happiness, courage, and calm. Also help you see things with more clarity of mind. Of course, I had to add flowers for my Ostara soap. Spring is coming, the earth is awakening, so of course, flowers will be blooming soon. I use purple forget-me-nots to tie in the color. These light pink, pretty heather flowers just because they remind me of a meadow. Lastly, I'll be adding these super tiny dyed blue baby's breath. These are the tiniest ones I've ever seen. And also very delicate to work with. I did want to tie in the soap colors with the flowers as well. Lay a gentle dusting of this biodegradable glitter because sparkles just make everything better. I'm obsessed. These are so pretty. I can't wait to show you the cut. Here we are the following day, ready to unmold and cut. This is why I go a little heavy-handed on botanicals and other toppings, because you will lose some in the process of unmolding and cutting. This mold will give me about 30 bars, so now I need to split this slab into 3 loaves. I am so happy with how the colors turned out, especially this purple. Here you can see a little peek of what the inside of the bars might end up looking like. This is the same soap cutter I've had ever since I've been making soap. I'm turning my loaves on their side just to avoid any drag marks from the botanicals on top. There's a bit of a wonkiness on one side from the crystal, but it's okay, it's just soap. It's still pretty. Not to toot my own horn, but these colors are literally perfect for Ostara. Stay tuned for the most unsatisfying twang from the wire. That one was a little better. Okay, so the funny part is that I had to zoom in on all these shots because my big head was in the shot since I'm so short, and I had to lean over to make sure I wasn't cutting into the crystals. And I didn't think you guys wanted to see a close-up of the side of my face. Another little angle for you. See all the botanicals that are piling up on the table there. So this is why you typically want to put a little bit more on top, because you will lose some in the cutting process. I'm really happy with how the swirls turned out. I guess you call this like a chopstick swirl design as opposed to a hanger swirl. I'm more keen on the chopstick swirl designs. For me, they're a bit more chaotic, but they still look beautiful. These last few bars probably have my most favorite swirl patterns. Do you see that? Ugh, gorgeous. I usually wait at least a few days before I stamp my soaps just so the stamp doesn't stick inside. A little extra marketing, and I feel like it really finishes the look. I forgot to record it, but I also beveled all the edges as well. These will be available March 10th along with the Ostara ritual boxes. This is my first YouTube video, so let me know if you like these voiceovers, or if you find them annoying, or any other feedback you might have on my first video. Please be kind, I am new at this.